Hey guys, this is Jen from ScanNCut Canvas and Scout Help on Facebook. Alright, I found a couple pieces of scrap wood that I have laying around here. And I'm going to chop them up and see if I can't make 4 of those turners, because as you know, I do a lot of the powder coating for the cups. And I want to start doing the epoxy and adding glitter and all that cool stuff in combination with the things that I use with my ScanNCut, which includes the sandblasting, Peebo painting, and all that cool stuff. Alright, but using the turners with the microwave actual motors really does work well, so that you don't have to sit there and worry about the gloppiness. Okay, so I'm gonna figure out some plans. I already have these boards divided up so that I can actually create support for those motors. Okay, that's the main thing you want to do to avoid burning out those motors. You really want that to be supported so that when they spin, that's all they're doing is actually spinning. They're not trying to support the weight of a cup and whatever other crap you got on that. Okay, so I'm going to go about designing how I'm going to put these together. And then we're going to get into cutting. So understand, this video and this technique does actually have you utilizing power tools, cutting tools, things like that. If you don't feel safe using those, you may need the help of someone else. But I highly encourage you getting out there and playing with stuff like that. It is so fun as long as you are safe. Okay guys, so we are out here in the wonderful wilds of Ohio. It's a balmy 34 degrees. I'm at my chop saw and I'm going to make the first cut. And I have to cut in the middle because I'm at my picnic table right now. So I'm going to start and I'm going to cut. Okay, and you're going to follow, if you want to do this, what I do is, you see this kind of center mark right here, that's where the blade runs. I tend to put my line right in that center, and that generally will work. Yep. Always start your blade before you bear down into the wood. And also understand, if you've never done this before, that your blade is not as thin as your pencil line, so it's going to knock out more wood than what you think. Okay, so I just have a few more pieces to cut, and then we're going to get into how to cut the hole so that we can mount things. I'm going to also go and cut some of the PVC pipe. I'm going to also cut the dowel rod. Okay, I've marked my dowels out about a foot. Okay, our cups are, I measured my tallest 30 ouncer, and that's at about 8 something inches. So a good foot on these dowels should cover me. So I'm going to give it. And that one's the one that already has the stuff attached to it. So I'm going to go through and give it a good foot high side. Okay, so there's my little mark. And don't ever try to reach up and grab anything until that blade comes to a full stop. Always wear eye protection. And always make sure you stabilize this wood. Don't lay it there and then bring the saw down. Oh my gosh, no. Don't ever try to cut anything that's really small that brings your hand into this red area, okay? I don't even like bringing my hands into anything too close. And one more, because I have 4 that I'm making. Okay, so there's that. And now we'll get the tube. Okay, so I went and I cut the little pieces of tube that the dowels are going to go into for support. Okay, so there's plenty of room for them to turn in there, but I just don't want that hanging with the cup weight on that. So hopefully this will work. Hopefully, we shall see. Okay, so here we are in the wild again. I'm cutting holes, utilizing the hole saw right there. And the squares that I just cut. Understand that to find the center, I just went from, oops, I'm holding the camera, so sorry. I went from corner to corner, then I dropped a line into the center, then utilizing the hole saw here with that part out of it before I assembled it, I sat that down and then dropped a marker right onto this center line and found that hole. Then after I cut that, I just took it to each corresponding block, dropped it down, and made another dot. Okay, so that's where this will start each time. Now, when you do this, you really want to be outside or in an area where you can use a lot of pressure and make a mess with your hole saw. Because if you have one like this, okay, once you drill through and this hits, this board can spin. And if you're not expecting it, you can hurt yourself, okay? And that's not something that anyone wants. If you have a vise or like clamps where you can really clamp it down, do that. But just note, you need clearance because it's going to go in this far, okay? But once you get through that initial plunge and hit, you can go as fast as you want with that, and it's going to plow right through that wood, okay? What I do, like with this, is I'll put it right here, and then I stabilize it with my hip here as I'm sawing through it, okay? Or drilling through it, and that really helps hold it. And I can apply a lot of downward pressure. And something that small is kind of hard, but it works. Or, you know, if I wanted to, I could take it out to my vise in my barn and put it in there, but I don't really need to. As long as I'm outside, I can make as big of a mess as I want. Or you can also stack up, like if you had a lot of wood stacked up, you could stack that up real high and on both sides so that your hole would be in the center and you could plunge right through there, okay? But just remember that that first initial plunge, if you're not expecting it, that wood is really going to spin and you can hurt yourself. All right, guys, so just be expecting that. So I have this one to cut for the motor, so the motor is going to sit in there, and then these boards over here are going to be cut for the PVC pipe, so that will help hold up the dowel rod that comes from the motor. All right. Also, if you have a drill press, this can do real well in a drill press too. Okay, so now I've cut a few of these holes, and what I've tried to do is I've actually lined them up so I found the center, same way I did with the big hole, and I've cut them at different heights, because what I want to tell you, if you are going to position them like I have done so that there is no strain whatsoever on this little motor, because this little motor is designed not to hold anything up, it is designed to just spin, okay? So like this one I have set so that it is fully resting in this PVC pipe, so that its job is just to turn, okay? That's all it's doing. It's not being held up in the air. It is actually sitting right in that PVC pipe, okay? But what I have done, and I'm actually going to seal this up right around here, because the hole saw didn't really fit tight, and that's okay with me. I can deal with that. I'll just put some sealing caulk right around there. I think it's got adhesive properties. I literally use it in everything, but I'll put that in there. But what you can do is there's no, dang, there's a lot of sawdust blowing around out here. There's no certain way. There's no certain way you have to screw these. So this one, for instance, can sit like that. This one over here, okay, sorry, this one I made, I think, a little higher or maybe a little lower. Hang on, let me pause. Yes, so look, see? Now if that sat in the same position, that would be totally ass backwards. So I'm going to rotate it downward, okay? And now it's perfect. It sits in there just fine. So don't attach your motor base until you get all of your extended bases cut, okay? And that way you're going to know how to place your motors, okay? So I know this base will be with the motor that goes this way, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to attach the PVC pieces, and you see they're just little tiny pieces that go all the way through there. What it just needs, what this dowel needs, is just someplace smooth to turn, okay, with no friction. So that going through the board helps it. Alright, so I'm going to just put that in there with glue, or I can use that same caulk, because that stuff, I think it's called OVI or something like that. Oh my god, I love that stuff. And then I'm going to run some little screws in here if I can find any. If not, I'll use that same type of caulk because it really works well and it holds tight. It's also waterproof. So we'll get going on all that. Okay, we're back in the zoo. Now, I wanted to drill into these dowel rods because they have, good lord, this place is a mess. They have their little posts that stick out on them. So I wanted them to actually feed into the dowel rod to help give it more support and to help it attach a little bit better. Lordy. Okay, so when they come looking just like this. Hopefully you can see this in the camera. Oh, yeah. Okay, so they have this little post on them. Well, if you take that and put it like that, okay, so you see they'll fit in there. Well, you can go find yourself a drill bit, which I have here. Nothing is working right today. Not even my voice or my lungs. And what I did is I went ahead and I measured the distance here, okay, and then I ran some tape there. Alright, so I'm going to drill into that tape, okay, and then I'm going to stop as soon as I hit that tape. And this actually fits extremely snug, so I'm going to drill out a little bit because I don't want to put too much stress there, okay. And you really want to find the center of your dowel rod, or as close to it as you can, and you really want to try to stay on that when you're drilling, okay, because if you get too close you can run the risk of splitting out your dowel rod, and that's not good. That's not going to help anybody. Okay, so go ahead, place that in there. You can hold this however you want. You can put it in your vise, whatever. Have the old man hold it in his teeth. No, I'm kidding. That's what I should do after the fiasco that's been created by mine. And be careful because drill bits do like to walk. And try to keep it as straight as possible. And I know from that first one that I need to kind of round it out, hollow it out a little bit more because of that tight fit. And if I was not making the video, I would be doing all of this outside. Because I do not like messes. Okay. So there's that. Let's try. And you can see it's snug, so I'm going to give it another little plunge. Okay, so it's getting easier. Ah, perfect. Good. Okay, so that is nice and tight, but it's not to where I have to use a hammer to drive it in. That's perfect. I'm going to stop right there. Now, to get this hole here, what I did with this one is I actually ran a bolt and a little nut and some washers through this one. Okay? Because I want to hold that on there and I want it to be secure. So I use this little drill bit that's slightly larger than what this hole is, but that's okay. Alright. The washer, or the bolt, let me get it. You can pick up these kits on like Amazon or eBay, and they are nice just to have around your house, just to fix small things that your old man and kids break. Okay, oops. So I got these, like I said, off of Amazon, and they come with all the washers and the little nuts. Okay. And I use this one. I have no idea what size it is. This, let me see if I can read the name of this one. This is Glark's 665 piece M3, M4, M5. Okay, so that's the metric. It's a metric size. So I put one washer at the beginning, so on the head side, and a washer on the nut side. And these are actually locking washers, so that helps hold on even better. Okay. Alright, but how I find the hole. Okay, so I'm going to push this in, and I'm actually going to see where it sets as compared to where it looks. Okay, so I take a look and just see what it all looks like. Alright, so now I know. So now I'm going to set it here. Alright, grab my little pencil. And hopefully, I think it doesn't go through on this one. No, it doesn't go through on this one. So let me grab, oh God, let me find it in this gigantic mess. Oh, where did it go? Hang on, I need to find my, well, I gave up trying to find that. So what you do is, if you can't find anything long enough to go through the hole, just line the hole up, take a marker and mark where the center of that hole is. Okay? So now, taking a look at where, let me make sure you guys can see this, yep. Take a look at where your hole is, in the top and in the side here. Alright, so now let's put this little doohickey in here. Okay. So now, let's carefully start to drill into here. Now again, that may want to walk. Put a piece of bad wood underneath it. Okay. Crap. Sorry you couldn't see that. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm looking right now at the center of that, let me hide this string, the center of the hole that I drilled into it. I'm trying to make sure that this is going to plunge into that center. Making sure I'm trying to hold this straight too. Okay. Well, that may or may not be centered. We'll see when we put this thing on there. Go at this from both ways. Okay. If it's not centered, don't have a stroke. And yes, I can say that because yes, I have had one. Okay. Oh, perfect. I'm looking at it in the light and it fits perfectly. Oops, I think I grabbed the wrong screw or the wrong bolt. Yes, I did. Sorry about that. My eyes are bigger than my project here. So now what I need to do is just rock it back and forth until it goes in. And yep, it's a crapshoot, but what you do is flip it over and look to the other side and just watch and just keep rocking it, and eventually it'll go through. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but it'll work. It'll go through there. I try to avoid really torquing on this an awful lot. But I'm not above pounding on the screw to get it to go in there. But it's normally not too difficult. It's just my hands are extremely tired from working on the house, the little house, and my wonderful lupus. Okay, give me the dadgum pliers. Hopefully these, oh, no, I need to go get my full-size pliers. Alright, I will be back. Go get my full-size pliers. Okay, so I got my pliers. Just in case we can get that sucker to go through there. I'm going to go ahead and put one washer on. And I'm going to stuff it. I use my, there we go. Told you it'd take just a little bit of loving to get it to go through. And then my other locking washer right there. And put this on. Fine motor control is difficult for me still. But you make do with what you got. So let me find my other pliers I just had. In case I need them. And this little nut and bolt is longer than the one I have on the other one. I have two little kits. So I must have got the other one from the other kit. Okay. And just tighten them up. Because of these little locking washers that are on here, that shouldn't allow any vibrations or anything like that to let these washers or let these nuts work themselves loose. Okay, but you can also put some glue on these if you want. If you're worried about them coming off. Or use silicone, same exact thing. The silicone caulk. Me and pliers just sometimes have a dickens of a time. Okay, that should be good enough. Now there is absolutely no play in this, okay? So when it turns, it is going to turn this, okay? There's no play, meaning it is not wobbling up and down. There's no added strain on this motor. And that is what I'm really concerned about, because these are essentially microwave motors. So this is designed to pretty much sit like this and just turn a turntable, okay? So it's used to turning the weight of the, like the big glass turntable, all right? So it's just used to that, but it's not used to supporting anything, all right? So that's where this comes in. So I want to use this to basically take all of that weight off of there. So that's going to be our next step, I think. Who the heck knows? No, I lied. That wasn't going to be next. We got to attach the boards together. So I just have this little guy right here. Again, more found wood. All the wood that I use is found wood because I'm not going to waste any of my good hand-sawn wood or my reclaimed. Okay, so here I have some screws. I use the square head because I'm sorry, but Phillips screws should never be used for anything. These are 1.5 inches. And the reason that I like the square head because you can actually get a grip on them. And it's pretty gosh darn hard to strip a square drive. Okay. And let me show you what I'm talking about if you've never seen one. Sorry. That's what it looks like. So you stick your bit in there and you are good to go. Okay. Don't have to worry about stripping the daggum things out. Let me find my bit. Here's my bit. Okay. Now, try to get this as close to center as possible. It's, you know, if you're off a little bit, it's not that big of a deal, but, you know, you want it to kind of help hold these upright. Yeah, you know, my things aren't masterpieces. Well, it's because these just function as a way to help you dry your material, okay? Or help you get your epoxy on. Yep, and you can pre-drill your holes if you want. I'm hoping this cheap old pine doesn't split. It may. I'm actually half expecting it to. You can hear it cracking. I'm not going to shove it down all the way in. I'm going to leave it kind of stick out because if I try to sink that sucker, more than likely it's going to go snap. Yep. So we're going to avoid sinking them flush because I don't want to hear a snap and have my board split. That's why I'm not a fan of cheap pine. I mean, it's got its purpose, but if you don't pre-drill your holes, a lot of times you can say adios to what you were doing if you wanted it to be crack-free. And see, this one didn't crack because it's well enough away from the edge. And sometimes, if you back this out and drive it back down, there, that's like pre-drilling, and it won't snap. Okay, so there we go. There's our two in that one. So now let's put our two in our little baby one. And what I'm doing is I'm just lining up the ends. Okay, but more importantly, I need to line up these sides here. Okay, so to do that, you're going to take one of these and set it up just like that. Okay, so that's going to help me line up my side. When it sits nice and straight, then I know I've got it. And I'm going to park this little screw right here for a second. Ooh. Come on, buddy, get going. That was getting dicey. Okay, yeah, I can actually see a crack forming in the surface. I can move this one over a little bit. Porta nifty neato. Okay, so there's our first one. So now what I need to do is pay attention to this little guy. I'm going to have to crack the caulk open here in a minute, but let's feed one of our doohickey majobber thingies in here. Okay, oops, not this one. I want the other one. Where'd the other one go? My doohickey majobber. No, it would help if I just did it the right way. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I need to fix this one first. So if you have something like this where you have a really close build, make sure that you leave this off, then assemble it when it gets in here, because of how the tabs in that are built. Okay, so this one will be on the bottom. Yeah, okay. Because yes, you can rock them side to side to get them in and out, okay, but you can't get it to be on the side it's supposed to. The tabs, okay. Alright, so now let's get this little fella back in here and let's get back into business. Alright, so I'll come back when I'm ready to start putting the rest of it together. Okay, so we're all looking good. This is what it looks like so far. It is fully supported right here, and that's what we want. I am not going to start to adhere anything, caulk anything, none of that stuff until everything is final. Okay, and I also test it to make sure it works, because a lot of these little motors sometimes don't work. Okay, so these motors come with 2 wires on them. Alright, yes, you can install switches if you like, but I don't see the need to, because I'm going to be with them at all times, so either I'm going to have them plugged in or I'm not. Okay, I'm going to show you. There is no certain wire to wire. 2210 AWG. These little clips I strongly believe in using for my own safety, so I'm going to wrap these. Okay, and then I'm going to put these on here. Now granted, there probably are other smaller ones to use. If you can find some, good, get them. These are the only ones that I currently have on hand in stock in my house. So I'm going to put these on. Then they're also going to get some electrical tape. But if you want to install an electrical little switch, you can do that right here at this point. Okay. But these are little screw-on wire connectors. One, they help the wires stay connected because they screw on really tightly. And 2, it gives a layer of protection. And then I'm going to throw on some UL listed electrical tape to further protect this connection, because safety is really important to me, and if I'm doing a video, I want you guys to be safe. Okay, so I'm just taking electrical tape. God, I hope you can see this. I'm just taking electrical tape and I'm going to further wrap around these connections very tightly. Okay, I don't want anything coming undone. And I've tested the ones that I have already done. I left them connected for about 2 weeks and just been kind of tossing them around, and you've seen me. I've had them in and out of the house. I've been yanking them here and there, and they've stayed nice and connected. So this won't get that much jarring, because it's going to be put in one place and it's going to stay there. Okay. So there's one, all nice and sealed. Okay. So now let's go get the other one. Remember, if there's any part of this that you don't feel safe in doing, then don't do it. Okay? That's what I tell everyone on my group. If there's anything you don't feel like doing or don't feel comfortable, well, in the group it's a bit different because it's like file work and things like that, and I can help you with it. With cutting wood and things, I can't personally help you with it. So you can either ask someone, or, you know, maybe this is something, unfortunately, that you have to skip for now. But at least you have the idea. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so now those connections are done. Let's plug her in and give her a try. Oh my God, what a tangled up mess. Oh, and these are just, this is just a lamp cord, like a lamp cord repair connection. You can get those at Home Depot, Menards, Lowe's, and I don't even know, maybe Walmart even sells them. I believe they have them on Amazon too. They are really cheap. Okay, time to unplug this. And let's plug this in. There we go. Okay. Now you see why it's so important to support this. Okay, you don't want anything bearing down on that. You don't want, you know, 20 pounds of glitter and epoxy and all the other crap that we put on our glasses hanging on to that with nothing to support it. Okay? Alright, so that one is good to go. Alrighty, so we'll get busy and do the other ones, and I can paint them, or I'm sorry, you can paint them whatever you want. Just try not to paint the PVC pipe inside, and try not to paint the area on the dowel rod. Okay, where it goes through the PVC pipe. So I would actually refrain from painting the dowel rod and the PVC pipe, but you could go ahead and paint like all of this other wood stuff, not the motor, the pipe, and the dowel rod. Okay, guys? And another thing, I know for a fact that these motors get very, very hot. Okay? So this is why when I built my thing like this is left open. Okay. I will place a fan across all of my tumbler turners because I don't want my motors overheating. So there will be a fan going at all times. The cords, yes, you know, if you want to build something like maybe down in here, that will keep your cords, but technically you should have them where, you know, no kids or no pets or anything is going to be able to get to them anyhow. Because on the other side of it, you have a cup that's got epoxy and paint and toxic stuff and things that you don't want hair or fingers to touch anyhow, okay? So this stuff should all be out of the way anyhow, and you wouldn't even worry about that. But the motors, you want to be out in the free air as much as possible, okay? You don't want to hide them in a wood box or in a plastic box or anything like that, so where they're being smothered. At least that's my own opinion. Use it however you want, okay? Okay, so now the end of this. Well, I'm going to take a little football. Take your little utility knife. Okay. Just make a little hole started in it. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Okay. This little ball I think is going to give me fits. Yeah, this is like some seriously dense foam. I don't think that thing's going to work very well. There we go. I got my my scissor bees to help me here. My dogs are dreaming. There we go. Now with these footballs, you can get them anywhere. You can also wad up tape into a ball. You can use socks, wad them up into a ball and tape them. You can literally use whatever you want. I've had these seriously forever from what's that place called? Oriental Trader. Since my kids were little boys. I have really had these forever, and it's like, oh my god, I can finally do something with them. Here, I don't want to be forcing that one around. Let me work on stuffing it onto this one. But you can find these, what they say, at the dollar store. My son said he's seen them there when he went with his girlfriend. So you can find them there. The fuzzy paintbrush rollers, you can use those. Pretty much anything that is bulky that will hold up with repeated uses of stuffing these things on and off of them. That's all you want to be able to do. And then just building it up so that it will hold. There, okay. Building it up so that it'll hold our big old cups. Okay. Alright. Oops. Oops. All this crap in my cup. Here we go. Okay. I am happy with that. Because boy, yeah, that is a lot of weight on there. Cool. Alright. And this is one of the longest cups I have. It's the tallest of all of them. There's my Arctic. Here's a Yeti. Here's I think I made this one. Yeah, so it's the tallest of all of them. Okay. Alright, and I think that's about it. I may actually add strapping to these to further help hold this, because I'm just terrified that this is going to pull on my motor, and I don't want it to. You know what I'm saying? So I may add, you know, more to this to help it so that nothing is being pulled on it. Alright guys, if I do that, I will add an addendum to this, and I will let you know. Thanks guys, have a good day. If you need help with anything, or you need to ask me a question, yes, I'm going to be doing some videos on how to make the tumblers, but they're going to relate to the ScanNCut because that's what I teach, is how to use the ScanNCut machine. You can find me over at my group. The link to the group is found in the description of this video. It is ScanNCut, Canvas, and Scal Help. Thanks, guys.